So, parents. I'm going to talk briefly about this tonight because I'm just making a video because I just tonight had a fight with my dad, which is not uncommon. We're pretty civil to each other in most situations, but we're both kind of like, if we're already in a bad mood, then we can, get set off pretty quickly. And we're not a violent family physically, but mentally and emotionally and like verbal abuse, we're very violent in that regard. So whenever we fight, it's screaming, yelling, swearing. No one's making any sense. No one is considering what other people say, yada yada. So it's kind of funny about my dad. My mom's a completely different story. She tries to be understanding, and she was like a hippie back in the day, borderline, like she was trying to be a hippie because it was the cool thing to do. But anyway, so my dad joined the Navy when he was like 17, has been working solidly ever since. He's really old. He's 65 and I'm only 20. So that's a really big age gap. So growing up back in those days, the 40s, the 50s, obviously being gay was looked down upon, and transgendered was like, no one even fucking knew about it, right? So his opinions are kind of old school, shall we say. And he has actually openly told me before that he was homophobic, and that he's not necessarily not homophobic anymore, which was fairly recently, actually, possibly in like the past 6 months he told me that. Although 4 years ago, after I came out to my mom as liking girls, she told my dad like half a year later about it, and he had probably suspected, but just like, he's the kind of guy who just ignores everything and just sits and wallows in his own self-pity or whatever the fuck he does all night. And he came to me. He had to wait until the house was empty. There was no one there except me and him. He had to be drunk, of course. And he came to me and said, oh, I just want you to be happy, and I ultimately don't care about your sexual preference, basically is what he said. And he actually cried too. It was really hard for me to hold back laughter at it was almost ironic. It's my dad, just seeing him crying, talking about how much he loves me. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so tonight we were at the dinner table, and because I'm the youngest child, all the other siblings have moved out. 2 of my siblings are like 20 years older than me, so they moved out before I was even born. And we're the kind of people who, I think I already said this, never mind. We were talking about something completely stupid, like the fact that there were a bunch of glasses missing from the cupboard or something. And then one thing led to the other, and then we just started fighting, screaming at each other. And he said to me, oh shit, what was it? Okay, he said, it always comes down to this in the end, because he doesn't understand why I can't hold a job, or why I just sit inside most of the time and don't do anything. And he always just said, get a fucking job and move out if you don't want to, deal with us or whatever. And I retorted with, do you know how hard it is for someone who's so depressed and repressed by society to get a fucking job? And before I even finished my sentence, he said, right after I said, repressed by society, he said, that's bullshit. Well, I'm not going to even talk about that. I'm sure you can understand what's wrong with that. He said that the fact that I'm repressed by society is bullshit. So, it's kind of obvious. Anyway, so we were fighting, blah, 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 blah. And my mom, she's trying to be like the mediator, the devil's advocate, and she's like, just don't stop. This is only your opinion. You don't know what you're talking about. To my dad, right? But he still just kept going. And he said, look, if you want to be gay or transgender, why don't you just go out and do it? Huh! Well, fuck! I didn't know I had a choice in the matter, do I? Well, so, now I really know my dad's true opinion about the matter. Like, not that I hadn't suspected before, but it's just really frustrating because I know that he will never, ever, ever actually come to terms with it on his own. I'd have to fucking sit down and talk to him about it, which is never possible because we're too alike, so we both get fucking ticked off, and then we just start yelling. So I kind of don't even see the point anymore. I feel like he's gonna die before he even figures anything out, because he's so fucking old and drinks too much. But there you go. That's the way life is. I don't need him. Yeah, I rely on him right now so that I have a roof over my head, but not for much longer. Ugh. So annoying. Fuck. Anyway. Fuck. Bye.